Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to this gentle moment together. My name is speaking to you in a soft whisper today. This video is created especially for you who are learning English. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath. Let my voice wash over you like warm ocean waves. Today, I want to share a story with you. A story that will remind you why learning English is so powerful. Why every word you learn matters. Why every sentence you understand brings you closer to your dreams. This is not just practice for your ears. This is practice for your heart. So settle in, relax your shoulders. Let the story begin. The year was 1847. Captain James Mackenzie was not a good man. He sailed the Caribbean seas with his crew of rough pirates. But even bad men can do good things sometimes. On his ship worked a young man named Thomas. Thomas was born into slavery. He had never learned to read. He had never learned to write. He spoke only a few words of English. But Thomas had something special inside him. He had hope. He had dreams. He watched the horizon every day. He wondered what lay beyond those endless blue waters. One dark November night, the storm came. The wind howled like 1,000 wolves. The waves rose higher than church towers. Lightning split the sky in brilliant white. The ship creaked and groaned. Then came the terrible sound of breaking wood. The ship was dying. Men screamed in the darkness. Some jumped into the angry sea. Others held on to broken pieces of the ship. Thomas grabbed a large wooden door. Captain James held onto a barrel. The storm carried them far from their sinking ship. For hours, they fought the waves. When morning came, they found themselves on a beach. A small, beautiful island surrounded by crystal blue water. But they were alone, completely alone. The island was paradise. Palm trees swayed in the gentle breeze. Fruit hung heavy from the branches. Fresh water flowed from a small spring. But paradise can be a prison too. No ships passed by this forgotten place. No smoke signals could reach the distant mainland. They were trapped. For the first week, they barely spoke. James felt ashamed of his past. Thomas felt afraid of his master. But hunger and loneliness change everything. They had to work together to survive. They built a shelter from palm leaves. They learned to catch fish with their bare hands. They discovered which fruits were safe to eat. Slowly, they began to talk. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange and pink, Thomas asked a question. "Captain," he said quietly, "will you teach me to read?" James looked surprised. "Why do you want to learn, Thomas?" "Because," Thomas said, looking at the endless ocean, "words are like ships. They can take you anywhere." James felt something stirring in his heart. Maybe this was his chance to do something good. "Very well," he said. "We'll start tomorrow." Every morning, after they gathered food and water, they sat by the fire. James drew letters in the sand with a stick. "This is A," he said softly. Thomas repeated, "A, this is B, B, this is C, C day by day." Letter by letter, Thomas learned. James was patient. He had never been a teacher before, but he discovered that teaching brought him joy. When Thomas successfully read his first word, son, James felt prouder than any treasure he had ever stolen. Son, Thomas said, pointing to the bright sky. Yes, Thomas, son. They both smiled. Weeks passed. Thomas learned to write his name in the sand. Thomas. He traced each letter with his finger. His own name looked beautiful to him. This is me, he whispered. This is who I am. James taught him simple sentences. I am Thomas. I am learning. I am free. That last sentence made them both quiet, free. What a powerful word. Months passed on their island home. Thomas's English grew stronger every day. James taught him about verbs and nouns, about past and present and future. Yesterday, I was afraid, Thomas practiced. Today, I am learning. Tomorrow, I will be ready. They talked about everything. About the stars above them, about the fish in the sea, about dreams and hopes and fears. Thomas told James about his family, about his mother who sang lullabies, about his father who carved beautiful wood. James told Thomas about his childhood, about how he became a pirate, about the loneliness in his heart. They were no longer master and slave. They were two men sharing their humanity. Thomas read everything he could find. Messages in bottles that washed ashore. Names carved in trees by previous castaways. He practiced writing in the sand every day. His handwriting became clear and beautiful. You write better than most educated men, James told him. Thomas smiled. You are a good teacher, Captain. Call me James, the pirate said. We are equals here. After 1 year on the island, they saw a ship. A merchant vessel flying the British flag. They built a huge fire and waved palm branches. The ship changed course toward them. Thomas felt his heart beating fast. This was his moment. The ship's captain, William Hartford, came ashore with 2 sailors. Good heavens, Captain Hartford said, survivors. How long have you been here? James started to answer, but Thomas stepped forward. Good day, Captain Hartford, Thomas said in clear, confident English. We have been on this island for exactly 1 year, 2 months, and 16 days. My name is Thomas Freeman. I can read, write, and speak English fluently. I am seeking employment on your vessel. Captain Hartford looked amazed. This articulate, well-spoken man was clearly educated. What skills do you possess, Mr. Freeman? I can keep detailed records, Thomas replied. I can write letters and reports. I can translate between English and Spanish. I can teach others to read and write. Captain Hartford needed exactly these skills. His previous clerk had fallen ill in Jamaica. Mr. Freeman, he said formally, I would be honored to offer you a position. Thomas felt tears of joy in his eyes. His dream was coming true. James watched with pride. His student had become his teacher. Thomas worked hard on Captain Hartford's ship. He kept perfect records of every transaction. He wrote elegant letters to merchants in London. He taught young sailors to read and write. His reputation grew with every port they visited. Thomas Freeman, people said, is the finest clerk in the Caribbean. After 2 years at sea, Thomas had saved enough money. He walked into the courthouse in Kingston, Jamaica. "I wish to purchase my freedom," he said to the magistrate. The magistrate looked at the well-dressed, articulate man before him. "You have the required sum?" "Yes, sir." Thomas placed a leather pouch on the desk. Inside were gold coins, his wages from 2 years of skilled work. "Then you are free, Mr. Freeman, completely and legally free." Thomas signed the papers with his beautiful handwriting, the same handwriting James had taught him in the sand. He was no longer property. He was a free man. He was a citizen. He was himself. 5 years later, Thomas owned a small school in Nassau. He taught children of all colors to read and write. His school was known throughout the Bahamas. One day, a familiar figure walked through his door. It was James, now gray-haired and tired. "Thomas," James said quietly. "James," Thomas replied with a warm smile. "Welcome to my school." They embraced like old friends. James looked around at the children reading their books. "You did it," he said with wonder. "You changed the world." "We did it," Thomas corrected gently. "You gave me the key. I just opened the door." James stayed for dinner. Thomas introduced him to his wife, Mary, to his 2 young children, Sarah and James. Yes, he had named his son after his teacher. "This man," Thomas told his family, "gave me the greatest gift anyone can give. He taught me that knowledge is freedom, that words are power, that learning never ends." And now, my dear friend, this story comes to you. You who are listening to my voice right now. You who are learning English word by word. You who sometimes feel frustrated or tired. You who wonder if you will ever speak fluently. Let me tell you something important. Every word you learn is a step toward freedom. Every sentence you understand opens a new door. Every conversation you have builds a bridge. Thomas started with nothing. He learned one letter at a time, one word at a time, one sentence at a time, just like you are doing right now. You are not just learning a language. You are learning to express your thoughts. You are learning to share your dreams. You are learning to connect with people around the world. English is not just grammar and vocabulary. English is possibility. English is opportunity. English is freedom. When you speak English, you join a global family. When you write in English, you share your voice with the world. When you understand English, you access infinite knowledge. You are Thomas on that island. Every day you are learning. Every day you are growing. Every day you are becoming more free. So be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Celebrate every small victory. Remember that Thomas didn't become fluent overnight. He practiced every single day. He made mistakes. He tried again. He never gave up. And neither will you. Your English journey is beautiful. It is unique. It is yours. Some days will be easy. Some days will be challenging. But every day you are moving forward. Every day you are closer to your dreams. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust that every word you learn has power. Trust that every sentence you speak matters. Trust that your voice deserves to be heard. The sun is setting on our story now. Thomas and James taught us that learning changes everything. That knowledge is the greatest treasure. That teaching and learning are acts of love. Take this story with you. Remember it when English feels difficult. Remember it when you want to give up. Remember that somewhere, a young man named Thomas learned to read in the sand, and his knowledge set him free. Your knowledge will set you free too. Sweet dreams, my dear friend. Keep learning, keep growing, keep believing in yourself. Your English journey is just beginning, and it is going to be magnificent. Good night.